I found out about the law, I'm like, oh, why? You know what I mean? We need to be on this. We can shut the whole shit down, and then so when I found out about the law, I'm like, oh, why? You know what I mean? We need to be on this. We can shut the whole shit down.
Because now it's coming from where it was fouled to straight there. Now what you did is you just used the fiduciary capacity of the filing department, which is going to either be the circuit court or most likely it's going to be where they do UCC liens at is going to be the county recorder's office. On some places it's going to call chancery, but it just depends. Wherever you go to file your deed at, okay? Wherever you have that file that deed at, just have them send it straight to Treasury. Why? Because it's in a fiduciary capacity. They just want to see how you're authorized to move these entities. Entity can't do nothing on its own. But when you have a fiduciary that works at the county recorder's office and they're sending a presentment or a package with the UCC1 there, it's already passing the first level of being scrutinized. Because now it's like you didn't do it, the county recorders did it. So you got to remember the law of principle and agency. So if you have the county recorder's office sending it, it's already got in. So that's just one thing that I do that's different that helps me, sets me apart different from everybody else. Hey, y'all send it there because that's where it's going. You want to use the administration. I always use the administration. So I'm like, hey, y'all handle it. That's it. Now
so
I put it
instructions already with your instrument.
Yep.
Right. And they gotta follow it. So they can't say the dispute. Okay.
Yep. So it phase 1 through 7 with the declaration stuff. Because I do all that stuff first. Because like Naiti was saying, try to tell the youngster, bro, you got to be authorized. You got to be able to set yourself apart completely. Not just using a UCC1. There's a lot of stuff you need to do before you get to the UCC1. See, they skipped over all that and just sent that's the Patriot process. Because they're going to be citizens regardless. Because without being citizens, they got to be exported somewhere else. If you're not a citizen on this land, then you have to have permissions from the Indians to get here, and it's only going to do that with a treaty. Once we put our claims in the court, all that shit is moving out of fraud. All of it is fraud. Okay, so you can't be here with a treaty with another foreigner and then make me subject to your laws when you're not from here and the person that you claiming is Indian ain't from here. Okay, to some degree. That's how you got to look at it, though. You got to look at it like you the slave, not me. You know what I'm saying? You just don't want to pass the remote control. It's like we all playing the game, Nintendo or the PlayStation, and he don't want to pass the stick. You know, his time is up, but he don't want to get done playing. You know how it is. He's playing. He don't want to pass that goddamn stick. That's exactly what's happening. But Trump came in and told the basketball court when Trump came in and did his When Trump came in yesterday, I seen his video that he sent to the people, basically telling them, hey, that the government is mixed up with two things. You got a bunch of people that are doing wrong and they don't want to stop. And then you got me that's trying to take it back to the real original form of government. This is how bad our country then got, to the point where you got these bottom feeders running and they out here gang banging on anybody else that's trying to take it down. That's it. That's what's really going on. But everybody's tired of this. Everybody is. So all we got to do is expose what's going on. And I guarantee you, some of what I'm doing mixed with everything else is what's gonna make it happen. That's what's gonna make it fall. They keep trying to go around this status thing. Not gonna work, bro. You could do a process like this, but then like you said, you're getting hung up doing other things because they pulling you over, secret laws in a secret jurisdiction, and not telling you, hey, well, we look at you as being black. Even though you got part of your process, we'll allow you to get away from a ticket, or we'll allow you to get away from this. But if we really want to fry your goose, we can anytime we want to, because your status is. But see, they don't want to teach you too much. See, like by trying to prove me wrong, and then I went out there And when I went out there and convinced other people I was right by showing them the truth, they don't want that to happen. So they'll let you win these little wars and just kind of leave you alone. See, like this brother, now he ain't on here. Let's keep it 100. Some of what he's doing is quasi. It's mixed. He's mixing a lot of private with public, and they like that. That's why he got a big following. You hear me? Because they see, oh, okay, cool. He's doing this. He's doing that. Oh, okay. Yeah, let him stay up there and make him think that he's doing something. They want that, but they'll never let me get to where he at. Not using they ain't gonna let me do that, because what I do is too effective. What he doing is just skimming over the surface. You know.
They still have him in the control.
Right. There you go.
They just giving him a little leeway.
Right. So like white folks is a whole lot of things but stupid, man. That's the one thing they not as done. And I tell people all that for a reason, because a lot of times they'll let you win little wars so that you won't get to the next level with it. It's just like a piece on the board. Yeah, I can take this piece, but the minute I take this piece off the board, I'm gonna lose a bigger fight. Getting rid of creek running water just proves that everything I said was right. That's all it does. They don't want to make me a martyr. They don't want to do that. Because now it's like now people that when I'm gone, they start looking into what I was doing, investigating. Then now they got to take Naiti out. Now you got to take none out. Now you got to take everybody else that knew this stuff out. That knew, no, Creek would have never did that. No, it wasn't no suicide. It's too much they got to do to go through all that. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, they can kill anybody. Yeah, of course. They got the advantage of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And you can't match their ability. You know what I'm saying? Of course they can take you out, but they're not trying to make you a martyr. They ain't trying to make you right by killing you either, because it's a bigger fight. You see what I'm saying? So, having said that, you got to take that into consideration, but you got to remember also, some of these people don't care about liability. They're just good. So that's why I cloak myself with the spirituality too as well, because I got to be able to protect myself from unseen dangers. Because a lot of times these people will go through, shamans to put something on you to get you. They'll do that.
That's what I was trying to give him, though, Creek. I was telling him
he getting there, but he ain't there yet.
They should have make it where even if you barred up out of state, that's all they can do is bar you from the state, because you done you about 20 of them.
Right. But you hear what he said. Hey, you hear the magic word was this. What did he say? He said, oh, I'm fine with what I'm doing. I'm fine. Yeah, they're going to make your life fine. They're going to make your regular life cool. Because they don't want to upset you too much for you to do more than that. See, if they start restricting you and you got 30,000 people on your following, see, you don't have to go get a job. See, these bottom feeders are looking for jurisdiction, and they can get you in a web. They can get you in a judicial web to catch you in a web, and then just come and get you once they get you in that jurisdiction. But see, if you a bee, see, like, certain insects spiders don't mess with. They don't mess with bees. They ain't messing with nobody got a stinger. You know what I'm saying? If you can fight back and you fight back good enough, there's no interest. Because it's not about fighting, oh, I can beat you. It's not about, I got more guns than you and can beat you. It's about making money and then doing it without getting caught. See, that's why I tell people, they can kill you. That's not always a solution for everything, though. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, going into the next part of that, this is where it gets tricky at. This is what I do, and I don't see a lot of people don't do this, but this is what I do. I make the debtor, anybody who got those certificates, like Naiti was saying, you can make everything is certified or certificated. If it can be certified, get it certified. So you really got two. Excuse me. The legal person can function in an estate and a trust. So when you got that 98 number and that estate number, those two things are two separate entities. But you got to make them something. So what are these entities going to be? Okay, cool. One is going to be a trust and the other one's going to be an estate. And that's what I did. Because both of them are certificated. So when I looked at them being certificated, that means they're being monetized. If they're being monetized, then they have to go through the SEC. And especially if it's going on a UCC1. But it's got to be one or the other. Because an entity is going to designate a corporate label. something. How is that operating the commerce? As an estate, as a trust, as a LLC? Okay, cool. So what I did is I took those certificates and I transferred them to myself, like I was trying to show the brother. Okay, and I transferred them at the secure party. Okay, so first, middle, last name is always going to be the first, middle, last name, the whole complete name that's on that trust. And the first person I got is the vital records in the birth county of where you're from. So that certificate of live birth. And the other one I got is the actual birth certificate, the short blue form.
Right.
Okay. So what I considered, the estate is going to be the certificate of live birth, and the trust is going to be the Social Security Department. It's a trust. Social Security is one of the biggest parts of the thing. It's a bank. It operates. It is a financial institute. You know what I'm saying? It has the capabilities of being a financial institute, but they keep a lot of that private for obvious reasons why. But it is considered to still be a trust because they set it up as like a trust. It's three parties. That's a trust. And they made themselves the fiduciary on behalf of the trust. You are the beneficiary. Don't they tell you in Social Security you're the beneficiary?
Yeah.
It's a trust. I already sent the chief executor over the for Social Security Administration, like the brother said, and I let her know that I didn't do an SS5 because I'm gonna be using a number. That's shooting yourself in the foot. And a lot of these gurus did that, and they put that out there as misinformation. They did that on purpose. You don't want to put out the SS5, but what you do is you want to put a claim on record and let them know that you're going to be operating this you're going to be operating it as a power of attorney. That's what you want to send your power of attorney to the Social Security Administration, which is going to be the chief executor, and let them know that they can operate in the fiduciary capacity, but not with power of attorney. That's what you want to do. You want to nullify the POA that they have on file. Okay, so because what they do is they give you a certain amount that's generated out of your account, but it's your money. Why I have to go to you to tell me how much to disperse? Okay, so what I did is I created a trust of my own, and I made them the fiduciary, and the beneficiary is my legal person. And then I made Creek Running Water I made Creek Running Water the
trustor.
So the trustor. So the trustor, I made myself the trustor of my own trust, and I transferred the interest first. You gotta remember, you can't make a trust with somebody already claiming ownership. You gotta transfer that interest first. That's what's so important about that Title 46. While I was showing that brother, I don't think it caught on to him, because I noticed when we was overhearing him, he said, "Man, I gotta get some real scholarship on here." He think what I'm just doing is just some penny ante.
No, really, he was talking. He was talking on the. He was talking to them people on Club.
Yeah, but I think he was telling them that I didn't have.
They was over there clowning. I got him on. I got. You know, I got him. Device. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was talking about me. Okay, I thought he was. Yeah, that's why he was talking about me. Okay, but okay. So anyway, once you transfer the interest, just like a mortgage, you get a title. It says clean title. Okay, and you do that with the double authentication. Get everything certified. That's going to go on your UCC1 finance statement. Okay, but also it gives you a reason why you want to operate some of the things that they have as a benefit in the capacity of a trustor, with a trust set up with the beneficiary. They can't say that you can't do that, because when you go back to due holder in course, what did it say? We're not going to legitimize anything. Okay, look at those words that they said there. They spelled it out very clear about fraud and how they don't see. Okay, cool. Well, don't see it when I use it then. And that's basically what they're saying. You see what I'm saying? Apparent evidence of forgery. Look at that. It's apparent evidence of forgery. But then down here it says what? Incomplete as the call question is authentication. It says or not otherwise. So irregular. Irregular means usually you would, but this is one of those cases where it's irregular, right? And incomplete as to call is incomplete means not going all the way through. To call into question of its authenticity. That's basically what that's saying. We know it's fraud, but nobody sees it. Let's keep it moving. We just want to kick it. We just want to get to the part where we can commence this whole thing of going without nobody pointing fingers at nobody. Okay, cool. We'll do that. But I did my declaration first, and in my declaration, see, what they don't know is when you look at my declaration, I'm sending that to you. When I sent that one to the Queen, that's already a claim on damages. You see what I'm saying? So the minute they try to weave out of that and try to use statutory law, no, you're not, because I already sent you a claim saying that I was an Indian, and we only you way over here making everybody else acceptable. People, but then you immune. How I'm not immune and you playing on my playground? You in my house. So that's what this does. It calls into question ahead of time. It's like you see what I'm saying? Bro, it took me years to do all this for a reason, bro. It wasn't something that came up overnight. So the name of the vital statistics, name of the age of the principal, said you can't say you didn't get it. And I'm sending one to the Queen. I send one to the president. I send to all the fiduciary capacities. Because all these other administrations are up under those. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to send it to the Department of Treasury. I got people sending crazy places. I said, why you send it there? Oh man, I sent it to the Department. They love sending it to the Department of Transportation. And every time they do, they showing me a frivolous letter talking about, hey man, how do I get around that? I said, don't send it to them. Why are you sending it there anyway? Well, because the Department of Transportation does this. Man, the Department of Transportation does everything automatic. You don't have to call them into question when they're already an administration under the Secretary of Treasury.
Right.
Why are you calling on to them when you already sent something to the Treasury?
They acting for authority.
Yeah, and then they talking about private shit in public. You just sent the whole public motherfucker, the whole private shit, made yourself look stupid. So I don't I don't do none of that. I mean,
trucks, private trucks.
They're already up under the Department of Treasury. All those are branches of the Treasury. You go look it up.
When you develop your trust and it's in private, bro, you don't turn around and relinquish that to no one.
Exactly.
Nope.
So I spell it in the declaration because this is what I do. I gamble on them not reading it.
I really didn't understand that, bro. You got a DOT number built off of it and everything.
Yeah, that one right there. He could tell you learned it offline. Because when they start saying DOT, bro, there's no relevance in that and what you're doing. They don't control commerce out here on the street. That's DMV in the state, bro. And they all they did is contract the police department to seize and collect. That's it. Police is a security for governmental and private organizations. That's it. That's why when you a club, you can hire them.
That just, I don't know. That just don't set right. You got a DOT number, bro. You just
BS,
actually, you can actually put yourself directly under their control.
That's BS.
With your trust, man.
Exactly. Man, who
that.
does that? Does the Rockefeller show they trust and do all that? Hell no. They go, I got the trust right here. I'm a Rockefeller. They don't do that shit.
You don't even get to see the Rockefeller seal family crest.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to tell him that. Bro, I don't do none of that shit. You doing all too much shit. I did a lot of paperwork to get to where I'm at, but then once I'm at where I'm at, I don't have to show nobody nothing.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. I swear.
I was there 10 years ago, like you said, maybe 20. Maybe it was a little bit longer than that, because I was a little sharper than that 10 years, man. Because hell, when I was in D.C., it was like 8 years ago, and that's when I started getting on the Indian community about 7 or 8 years ago.
Boy,
when I met none of them, I met all y'all. It don't seem like it's been that long. It was 2016, brother.
Yeah, it was a while.
That was a minute ago. It don't seem like it. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's 2023, bro. That was 8 years, 9 years ago. Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So, And we've been doing this for that long. So I had 15 years before that. I met Yusuf L within the last, don't even seem like it, but it's been almost 15 years ago. Actually, that was 16 years ago. Yep, and then I started doing the paperwork because I didn't fuck with nothing back in 2010, I didn't fuck with nothing. I just was learning and collecting the stuff and asking questions like everybody else doing right now, trying to put the shit together. I didn't quit my day job and didn't do none of that. I was just learning it, listening. I went to seminars. I started trying to do the shit. I didn't just jump head in first. I didn't do all that. I say within probably the first 4 years, that's when I did my decoration. Because I had like 5 years before that. I went through the decoration process for about 4 years before I found mine. And that was back in 2013. It might have been 2014, I think it was. 2014, yeah.
I think I found the declaration in 98, 97, 98, and ended up getting into a shootout in 2000. They got barred out the state, but it was all good. That's
probably why.
Yeah.
That was too powerful back then because none of us was supposed to know none of that back then.
Exactly, bro. I got blessed because of my moms. You know what I'm saying? She was already.
I learned a lot too from moms because you know what's funny, because I learned a lot of this from her, even the UCC, but she didn't know it was doing all this. She didn't know nothing about none of that. That she was calling CPAs. She had an attorney, so she knew about it. She was like, "Damn, I didn't know all this." Like when I was learning this, she was like, "Damn, I know what that is." I was like, "Yeah," and that was way back in the 90s. Because when I first had the first UCC one I seen, was back in 94. Was the 93, 94 was when I first seen the UCC one. And the first person I seen do it and talk about how they made $1 million off of it was Conscious Community. What's his name? The light-skinned old, not Polite. He's way before Polite. He's heavy. Who was that man? The light-skinned brother that used to teach back then when we was VCR tapes. Remember?
No, not Rob Hayes, but
you know what I'm talking about.
The big boy, yeah, I know the heavy skin, look like Fat Albert, yellow skin. What
was his name, man? I'm about to find out. Who was that guy that was on that platform before him? Because he started talking about
Phil Valentine.
Phil Valentine.
That's my man. There you go.
Phil Valentine.
I knew you was gonna get it. I knew that.
I'm sitting here wrecking my head.
Phil Valentine, man, bro. Hey, that was the one that did the UCC one back in the 90s and got caught up. And then everything then went down here. I was like, I ain't fucking with that. But I was learning it a little bit, but not much. You know what I'm saying?
I've been running from it ever since, bro.
Yeah, so if you want to go, if you want to add all that, then it's been over 20 years. But I would say diligently 15, about 17 years now. It's been almost 20. No, it's been over 20 years because that was back in 90. When did I start doing this? 2003.
94, 93, 94.
That was, because I didn't come around to it again. I left it alone. And I was trying to do stuff with the Constitution and doing all that stuff back then. I wasn't doing UCC. I was doing constitutional stuff. Up until like 94. That's when it was. I had my daughter, because my daughter is 22 now. So, it's been about 22 years. Yeah, about 22 years. I've been doing this for 22 years, bro. And I just now got to this part, not even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even 10 years ago, man. I made a breakthrough barely 10 years ago. That's it. And that's just the truth, bro. Because I just wasn't comfortable with, I didn't have a full process. I was using everybody else's process before I got my own. So, but this right here is solid, bro. You definitely want to take that. The certificate of live birth is an estate because it's attached to property. It's attached to land, and it's registered in the land in the deeds department
under the agriculture. It's under
but when you try to go there to get a copy here in Indiana, they're not going to give it to you. They're going to tell you you can't go there and get it. But I think there's like in Texas you can, like certain places you can, but in most places you're not going to go into the county recorder's office and get a copy of your certificate of live birth. They'll direct you somewhere else to the vital statistics. But the vital statistics is going to be the fiduciary. So you're going to send them a 56 form. After you do your declaration, when you do your declaration, this is a claim. This is the transfer right here. The real person, because you got it in regular caps, because only a real person can talk. Do solemnly declare my indigenous standing, flesh and blood. Okay, you take one out as a man or woman. And then the original name of the tribe is going to be on your will. Put that there. And then you're going to say misnomer, government name of the tribe, which is going to be in, the misnomer is always going to be like Cherokee or Choctaw or whatever. And you're just telling them a descent of one of the aborigines of these lands commonly known to the United States, C-28 U.S.C. 302, let them know this is a corporation, in accord with House Con Res, which tells you when you go to H-Con Res 31 and you click this link, it's going to tell you that they met the Indians and said that they were immune. Everybody except for the Indians. Okay, and they passed that back then to let all the Indians go because they weren't considered to be slaves once they start signing these treaties. That applies to you too. Like I was telling the brother, these certain standards that they made standards for the Indian Bureau of Affairs, why that not pertain to you or even more? So at the very least, you need to be taking whatever they offer to these Plains Indians and saying, hey, if they got that by law, I need to have that at the very least. So that's why I got these right here. That's why I got these right here because I tell people, listen, man, they will always want to jump up to the top real quick in 2 steps. Bro, we need to go from where we at to this first. Let's make it an even playing ground. Once it becomes an even playing ground, then you can start stripping people after you got immunity. You can't go from slave. You can't go from slave to God. You know, and not in reality. Not in reality. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in an imperfect world, but not how they got this system set up. Okay, and this system set up right now, you want to prove that you're Indian and that you got the rights of any other Indian here. And that's what I'm doing right here. Okay? But it's solid because as you keep rolling this paper and it goes from paper to paper, it goes from place to place to place, it keeps getting stamped by every department that's seen it. So like my decoration now, it got about 10 stamps, is about the size of a telephone book. Because I done took it everywhere else, and every time I did, I just took that one and I put it back in the folder. But then when I want to show somebody that's trying to challenge my claim on my estate, which is property, when they want to challenge that estate down here, the second debtor, when they want to challenge that, I'll be like, whoever you sending this to, they're in a fiduciary capacity. The contract for that is going to be the 56 form. The reason why is because there's being taxes taken out for every business. Every business got to pay for taxes. Okay? And the vital statistics is supposed to be paying taxes, but that we ain't supposed to know if they are or not. But that certificate of live birth makes it so that they're in a fiduciary capacity. Once you send them that declaration and that certificate of live birth, when they get that copy, you're gonna show them a copy of the seals that you got. So what I do is I just go make a black and white copy. You don't want to make a copy that looks like you forged a copy. Make it black and white when you're sending them a copy. But when you're making a copy of anything to yourself and they say they need the original, that's when you go make a color exact copy, because you want them to think that they're getting the original, but they're not. So what I do is when I send something out, I make a mistake they're getting the original because I make 2 originals. I make a copy of the original, and then once I get that stamp, I go get the original done. And then when I'm done with it, I go put that back in the folder or in a case like a gun. When you get through it, you put it in a case. Then when I want to go show somebody else, say, well, you need to get a copy of certificate of live birth. Then I go give them the certified copy. They don't never see the original. So when I want to show it, I show them the certified copy. If it's an officer that's trying to put a claim on something, then I go show them the one with all the seals on it. Because when they see those seals, they're like, damn, how do you get this filed in the county recorder's office? Because all my decorations got the county recorder seal on it. It got the Secretary of Steel authenticated seal on it. It's got the circuit court seal on it, where it went to the court and got the seal on it. When you get those 3 on there, I tell people then you can send it to anything else, because all those things are going to lead to those courts. So their jurisdiction succeeds all the rest of those jurisdictions, including the police department. The police department is only going to go by whatever they've been told to do. That's it. They don't regulate. They just enforce it. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of my idea how I got that set up for that one entity when it comes to the UCC1, and using my process, it makes sense because it's contrast. It shows where I went in and did a decoration. I sent it to these places. They all got a copy of the decoration. Okay, and then I got the estate EIN number. I took that estate EIN and made it an executor, right? You know, you got the choice of making executor or administrator. Then what I go do is because the trust is already set up without the paperwork, because you just took 3 things and made 3 components come together, and you got a representative on the IRS side for your estate EIN. Okay. That's how I know it's an estate, because they offer a number for that, and the estate, the number they give you is an estate number. So that means they operating the trust out of an estate, because they use an estate language. And you know, a estate always turns into a trust after you die anyway, because it has a will. And you always state who the person of the will is, and the executor. And the executor can be, in most cases, it turns over if the will specifies it, and there is some exceptions, but most of the time the executor turns into what? The fiduciary, or the trustee, or the trustee for the trust. So once I pronounced myself as being, I took that all cap name in that decoration. I'm just trying to let y'all see where my ideology came from. I took that all cap name decoration up here, all cap first, middle, last name, and exported him out of their jurisdiction and used it in my own jurisdiction. So now let's put it in prospect. You are a beneficial owner. Now, you're not the beneficial owner, but you have created something, or a trust, which is assessed to KBI, and you took me and made me a beneficiary. You made the officer the fiduciary, and the person that owns owns the company that's private is the person who's operating at the trustor, right? Which could be whoever that person is that owns that business, right? So they're always going to be part owner, because they invest in every bond that they sent out before they traded it, right? So that means that they're arguing, and they're not telling you what they're arguing about, trying to use government when it's really a corporation. So you gotta really, when you're doing this stuff, you gotta take the whole government part out of it and look at it like they're a corporation. So they're using a straw man, and you using a straw man. You can use it how you want to use it. So what I did up here is I put the original owner first, middle, and I put that of the family sequence in there to show them nobility, because that's what the Britons did. They came over here with surnames. So I'm letting them know of the family is already showing this is organized as an elite, and this right here is the corporation operating on a general delivery, because he's exported with no address. The address that I'm using is general delivery. That's federal. So far, ain't nobody touching that. They only have interest when they set up their trust. But when I set up my trust, if you peep what I'm saying, you kind of taking it away from what you're doing because you're using the same name. That name is what they use, but you transfer yourself to make yourself the beneficial owner. So they only got part interest, but not more than you. And the interest that they got, we're gonna get to that because they had to put together some type of trust with an escrow account so that you can get your interest out of that too. That's called, what that's called is recoupment and funds. That's how you do a recoupment. Okay, and a recruitment and funds, you can do that too with this process, but that's a whole nother process, and I'll say that for later. But this right out here starts all that. You have to have all this done before you get to that, because what they're gonna do is, see, what they do is with me is they try to go through all my paperwork to find something they can try to bring up in court. When your shit is airtight like this, they can't bring up nothing. Because all my shit, you gotta remember when I went across to Homeland Security, I said I was detained while they went through my declaration. They went through all my paperwork. We was in there for a whole hour with they said our legal team is looking at that. Oh, that's fine. I sat up there, I didn't show no type of discomfort. I sat up there like I was very comfortable. They came back a whole hour later and came back and said, you guys are free to go. By the way, the next time you come through the border, just show us the certificate of live birth and the declaration. That's all you need. And your kids, they fine too. So now what they did, they took my kids' birth certificates that I created and put them in the system so that they have validity.
Yeah.
Now I didn't want to tell that brother because you seem like it was cool, but that was semi-private what we did. That wasn't all the way private. Because I wouldn't have told him like how I talk to y'all, I don't talk to not even them. You know what I mean? My circle was just y'all two only. I don't mess with nobody else. When like stuff I'm telling y'all, I ain't telling nobody else. But that's literally what I did.
We the only ones gonna get a copy of this too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I need to study it.
Yeah.
A couple times before it actually set in like I need to. Because again, I'm just not really starting to fuck around with the UCC shit. You know what I'm saying? I did these forms and that form. I always got myself prepared for it. I just never dabbed in it.
But you know, you was completely right when you said you don't have to do a UCC1. You were 100% right. You don't. I just learned it because I learned wrong, so I try to make sense out of it. But you don't need a UCC1. All you need is a certificate of live birth.
Yep.
You gotta remember, some of these counties don't have UCC1s. When I went to, I was born in Muncie. Okay, it's a county outside of the city. They don't have UCC1s at their county recorder's office. The lady told me, she said, I said, well, how are you guys processing what I had? Because I'm going to do a continuation, and I just moved from Indianapolis to here. I said, so you got to have a process that I can use and able to take the paperwork that I have there so I can put it on record. She said, just bring it up here and put it what you want to put on top of it, a cover letter.
Right.
She said, or you could just use your regular UCC1.
Hey, this is why we used to explain it like this. He said when he first got into it, he said he did a UCC. He was doing promissory note. He was doing the ghost for instrument at the car dealer, right? And he said the dude, when he went in there, he found out he did it wrong because the dude, the manager took his instrument, right?
Yeah.
And said, well, he said, well, give it back. He said he wouldn't give it back to him. The manager wouldn't give it back.
Yeah.
So he was like, I ain't gotta give it back. You know what I mean? Because he used to realize that
I heard the story.
Yeah, remember he was saying that?
I remember that.
UCC
so they end up using it. They can
use it because it's good. You know why? Because he didn't do a UCC3 and claim it on the register.
Right.
That's fact. So all UCC is a claim to your instrument when you're doing commerce.
Right.
When you're doing the negotiable instrument or promissory note.
Yeah. I tell people all that the UCC, in my opinion, now it's just, I think that UCC3 has more force and effect. But you got to have the UCC1 done before you can do the UCC3 because they're a component, because they're going to look at what do you have from the original UCC1.
What are you drawing it off of? Yeah.
Yeah, because you're basically saying, hey, this is how. Basically, that's what I tell people. It's your entry into commerce. That's how, like, when you fill out an application, you start your job. They're always gonna go to the application to see what you put on there. Same thing. They're doing the same thing with you in commerce. They want to see what you put in and how you operate. Then, when you want to do an assignment, that's when you do a UCC3. You want to do transfers. You want this person, like, okay, well, I want none to be the. I'm gonna give him power of attorney, and he's gonna start regulating on behalf of Creek Running Water, right? Like, say we got a business together, and I'm giving him signatory rights. So I do that with a UCC3. Nobody's gonna argue with it. Now he can come in as nonetheless to sign my name because I got it on the UCC3 with a POA. Let me give you a copy of this too. And once you
because my declaration is built up similar to that. I use the same terminology, family of,
yeah.
But then my declaration is about 9 pages long. 9 pages long.
Damn. Why so long?
Shit, I got all kind of shit. So do you think to pay these bills, help people pay their bill, you think it'd be a good way to go by it by attaching it to the Agricultural Farm Act, because all land is considered rural land?
I don't. There probably could be an angle in that way, but you would have to create the process for doing that. But what I did is I just simplified as much as I could. And the number one,
some states won't do it. I'm just
they won't
letting
do
you
it.
know.
They tell you gotta have cattle and you gotta have a farm.
Yeah,
so what I do,
but you can follow in other states. That's my whole point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I have heard that.
You can make it regional and still do it. Yeah, you can do a regional or national foul, but it's more powerful when it's in that jurisdiction. Because here's the thing. The bottom feeders don't want to have to deal with that because it gives you immunity where you domicile. See, like that other brother, if you foul out your stuff somewhere else, then they gotta go look for it. But if it's right there in front of their face, they ain't gotta.
Hey, Creek, can you file in another state and then give notice that you filed in another state? And the state where you at? Okay.
Yeah, but they ain't gotta recognize it.
Oh, okay.
Now they can play jurisdiction games with you. And I came around. You can get around that, but it's just too much to have to go. I don't want to go through the passive system, so I always try to find the easiest thing to do. So, you can go through the land grabs, or you can go through, better yet, what I did is you can get a plot of land.
My sister just called me thinking, she first words out of her mouth is, well, you need to go ahead and apply for a farm loan. Stop
you ain't got to do that much.
You got chickens and all that around, and you got
that. Yes, if you can do that, you can do that. Yeah, I'll show you how to do the agricultural lien. But if you don't, you know how you get around that. Let's go get you a plot of land for $10.
I can do whatever
like CPNs.
I want.
Yeah, like CPNs. Yeah. That's how you get around that. That's why I tell people, I said, if you're not gonna get into the thing of trading and negotiable instrument stuff, you still can do it. Just get you a CPN. That's the best. I prefer to do that because now you use a credit, and you can still use the treasury part of it and discharging, and even the DMOT account because you trade securities. Now that's going to put you still in the SEC, but now because you got all your cards stacked up, boom, all that's real easy. Now they're just looking for you to do your paperwork right. That's it. A DMOT account. Can y'all see my account? Hold on.
Nah.
Hold on. I'm about to put y'all back on.
All right.
Okay. DMOT account meaning. What is DMOT account and how to open it? This is for investors who want to own securities like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Must open a DMOT account. You got to have that DMOT account. It's short for dematerialized. Accounts are electronic record tracking your ownership of tradable assets. Then once you do that, you can take the form that they get from your account that's supposed to be for the federal treasury. Oh man, where is it at? I got it on here. Let me just read through this. What it allows you to do is get a notary signature with a medallion stamp with your commercial bank, long as it's non-interest bearing. And you can funnel in, once you put that with your commercial bank, now your commercial bank can accept promissory notes on behalf of your business. What I did here in the UCC3. I set up the accounts first.
Hold up, run that back.
Paper, all that you can do it on toilet paper. They just want to see those on the bottom of the check. Now, when y'all get this promissory note, and I'll let y'all get it. But when you get that, it's going to show you all of how you're supposed to put the promissory note together, and where the is coming from and where they need to go on your check. Once you do that, what they'll do is they'll run the numbers off your check. They'll run it, and it's going to automatically go through. Because they're a financial institute, they can accept a promissory note.
So is it gonna have a number and all that on it?
Yep, the number. It's on the promissory note. I got it. That's all there.
Yeah.
Because other than that, like, I've been here all day. Like, I've been here since 6 o'clock. I don't even know it's 6 o'clock here. When I started talking to y'all, that was like almost 8 hours ago. So
damn.
Yeah, exactly. We've been on for almost 8 hours. I can't do this every time. I would never make no money. I couldn't do nothing, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is I just say, just go give me a few dollars for this, and when you go to that note, it's gonna have all of what I'm trying to explain to you right there, as far as the note goes. Now, for the handling of the note, I'm just telling you, when you send it out there, it's gonna go through. It's gonna go through, but just make sure that you give it to somebody to give to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, don't walk it in there on your own.
Yeah, the lender or fiduciary agent.
And you want to have this done, because this keeps records of this is the application for how you got it set up with your security.
This is UCC3, right?
This is the one.
Oh, this the one. Okay.
Right. You want to have both of those trusts and make yourself the trustor of a trust that you did after you transfer who had it before. You see what I'm saying? You transfer the interest to yourself. So you have that's the birth certificate and the certificate of live birth. Somebody already claimed interest on that, and they're using it in private.
Right.
You said, okay, I'm gonna double authenticate it. When you double authenticate it, yours became the original. Now you just took it and transferred it to yourself. You took it, put a decoration on top of that, and you put it with your UCC1.
Oh, so you're gonna send that with the UCC1 to the
correct? Which IRS. That process, that sole status is the cracker. That process, you're gonna put it with your UCC1 and send it to the Treasury Department.
To the Treasury, all right.
Now, when you send it to the Treasury Department, you definitely want to have after you do that process. I don't run them together because it's too confusing. So after you do that, the next affidavit you're going to use with the 3 to give authorization. Remember, you got to have a contract to show where these people came in and did an agreement. That's all the security agreement is. It's okay, these people got an agreement. That's it. It's all about contracts at the end of the day. Right. So now you say you come back a month later and you say, you know what, I want to get some trailers, like what I did. I got a trailer, moved it on a lot and set up everything, so I ain't got to pay for the hotels and all that shit, right? And it's bigger, it's better than a hotel. So now what you do, you say you go purchase one with your, I'm giving you an example, okay? Like, I'm just giving you a scenario. I'm building a scenario up based on what you can do with your land and stuff. I'm just giving you what I did. So now you gotta, say you you want to go get, your credit is good, and you want to go get a camper, like what I did, a trailer, a double wide. Okay, so cool. You go get that. You're not going to buy it outright cash. Don't do that. because you can write it off over times and then discharge it in the end. So what you do is they're going to look at your credit score. You know, they're going to look at your personal credit. Of course, you got a CPN, and you said you got all this, so you got that part of the process. Cool. And if you don't, you can always hit me up. So you got that. Now you got. So they say, okay, cool, you qualify. Now you making payments. That's cool. But so when you make your payments, in 3 months' time is the accrual method. Basically go through the whole process of what it needs to in order to everything.
Procurement.
Right.
Procurement,
there you go. Procurement. Exactly. There you go. So once you go through that, then you got to transfer the interest. You know, it usually takes about 3 months. That's because it has to be able to draw interest. It's got to be able to get securitized, hypothecated, go through the bank, and that's going to take 3 months to do that before they can make their money. So they like for you to, when you start discharging, it's like, wait a minute, we didn't make no money yet. You are already discharging it. So I always tell people, go ahead and get it on credit and just make a payment, bro. You're like, you ain't making it's on credit. Money's not coming out of your pocket.
Right.
It ain't shit. So in 3 months' time, you can discharge. There got to be a minimum of 3 months. Let them securitize it properly, go through the bank, trade the asset, let it get on the market and do all that. And then once it does all that, goes through the process, then that's when you want to do your UCC3, and then you want to break out a trust. Show them the indenturement. You ain't even got to have a trust, just have an indenturement. And then you can just show, okay, right here, I did an assignment. When you go to an assignment, you can still see my my screen, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm doing a UCC assignment. Give name of assignee. You gotta they want to recognize who it is that you're gonna have the assignment. You're giving partial permission to. Remember I said about being authorized. So the secure party is Creek Running Water, but he has to anoint certain people up under him, giving them permission with a trust where they can transfer, purchase, and buy things. Now, remember, I told you got a bank account set up, right? And you making payments. Now, watch this. 3 months from now, you're going to take that checkbook that you got from the
my bank.
From your bank.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to
What?
Yes. Transfer it to yourself, brother. Transfer the interest to yourself.
No, that's the account that they're gonna use in representation of the minor account.
Correct. So
and they can add they can attach some funds or the whole amount of funds that's under the account to this account.
What people were doing and what I've seen other people do. What I've seen other people doing, so you catching on. See what I've seen other people do is they take those without even messing with a promissory note, and they take the existing numbers off that. They hold it in trust, transfer it to themselves in a UCC3 that shows where they transferred it, and that they're going to start using this to discharge debt ahead of time. That's why when you send in your promissory notes, all you're doing is showing a And when we talked about that decoration and went into how we gonna put the business together, I never heard back from them. Never. They just stopped calling me. It just got to a bunch of gossip. But I never try to hide anything, man. I don't care. Nobody knows about what I'm going through. I have a regular life. I don't try to, I try to be regular as possible, man. I don't try to make myself, I'm all the way up in the clouds elite.
original.
Right.
So I started before all of them had channel. I'm the only one didn't have a channel because I wasn't about all that shit. I was trying to learn. I'm an end game guy. I like end game. I'm like Thanos. I'm ready to shut all this shit down. So when I found out about the law, I'm like, oh, why? You know what I mean? We need to be on this. We can shut the whole shit down, and then so when I found out about the law, I'm like, oh, why? You know what I mean? We need to be on this. We can shut the whole shit down, and then when they did that shit, that's when the ancestors were like, you know what?
Mm-hmm. The movement is dead, bro. That's why, like Naiti said, they beating them up. Really, man, we got all the cards. We just don't know how to play. So when they get on Sinetta, they already ready. You don't know how to play the game.
Right.
But if it wasn't for Chief Alligator and all them, which, you know, they cool, because they've been online for years. I don't know why they just not bringing them up like they brand new. You know what I'm saying? They've been quietly in the background all this time, been watching their videos. Right. But they trying to make, they the one that really resuscitated and gave the whole movement a life again, because it was dead. It was dead. It was dead until they came back out and they made it back alive again. That's exactly what happened.
But they're not keeping that in the recession or resuscitating it as using that as an apparatus to their movement. It came out, they glorified it for about a good week, and now it's flushed down the toilet. They back to the career again.
Exactly. Because they still, it's like the brother when he got on, bro. You're not going to get to that level until you incorporate some of these things that I'm talking about in your process. It don't make sense to be talking about we Indian, but then when you get off the YouTube, you still a and they don't recognize you as nothing else but I don't get that recognition, man. I just don't. Because I always put the decoration first. And then when I do, it actually gets it so I cut the line or I even make it in, you know what I'm saying, whatever I'm trying to do, because of the decoration, before I even do any of that legal. Sometimes just the decoration by itself has allowed me to do a lot of things. That's what I love to do. Sometimes just the decoration by itself has allowed me to do a lot of things. It suck you dry like a vampire. You know, take your kids and put them in, you know, and she's being adopted. Yeah, but your kid's being adopted by somebody else, but you still getting paid though. That part. Now you getting paid because they with a corporation that's funding these kids so they get more money. That's up. You taking black kids from families and putting them and adopt them in other places, and the people that are adopting these black kids are white or non-black. It's bullshit.
And they get paid. Everybody getting paid.
All of them get paid off your misery, and your kids growing up. Don't have. So you know, my thing is this, bro. When they get tired of that, they're gonna have to come this way, just like we already talked about. We've already had this conversation that we're just gonna have to make something, and eventually they're just gonna have to come to where we at. That's it.